Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about box plots in R. I've already pre-done some of the code just so we're not repeating it and save a little bit of time. So we're importing the ggplot2 library as per normal. I've changed the path because now it's got a separate folder called, let me just undo that, called box plots in R. I've extended the data file that we used in the previous tutorial, but it's still relating to the employed student IQ dataset. The full path is the paste of those two, remember. If you've not watched the previous tutorial, I recommend that. Then the student IQ is read by that full path with headers equal to true. The structure of the student IQ shows that we've got factors, integers and factors, and there's a look at what the actual data frame looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a subset data frame. So I'm going to call it students, we'll call it stu income greater than 27k. Nice long. So we're going to use the subset command. We're going to pass in the student IQ as a data frame. Then we're going to use the income field greater than 27,000, which will create me a nice subset of that data. Let's see how many records that ends up producing. 138 observations. So that's narrowed down the data. But that's how you create the subset. And if you remember, the deployer package can be deployed for using like select-like queries if you use the SQL. So to create a box plot based on this stu income greater than 27k, we're going to use the same method as we had previously. So we're first going to create a data and aesthetics layer. We're going to use the ggplot command. We're going to specify the data is equal to the stu income greater than 27k. We're going to specify our AS layer. You can actually put line breaks in after commas. X is equal to stu income greater than 27. We're going to specify their student level on the x-axis and the y. So what we actually want to put into the box plot is going to be, let's say, the IQ. So in the y is the numerical field, that's the categorical field, so the student level. As you remember, if we run that line now, what will happen? Nothing. It will go into the values window because we've only added the data and aesthetics layer. We then need to add the geometry to it. So I'm going to call this my plot, so my box plot, we'll call it. And what we're going to do is pass in what we've just created, so our data and aesthetics layer variable, and we're going to add in geom underscore box plot. Then, because those two are variables, remember, we need to then print that out to the console. You can use the print command, or you could just specify box plot. But for good practice, I tend to try and use the print command where I can. So if I run those 3 lines, that's what it gives me. So it's showing me actually the postgraduate IQs are far higher. So that's the median. That's the upper and lower quartiles, if you know anything about box plots. So yeah, the end of the boxes are the upper and lower quartiles, or the 75th and 25th percentile. The lower extreme is the minimum, that's the maximum. The upper extreme, so the maxima. And it just shows you where the actual median levels are and where they're distributed. I'll just flash up an image now just so you can see how they break down in a box plot. But essentially what that's telling me is postgrad, they've got a higher median IQ and they've far surpassed even their kind of lower quartile IQ is still higher than the college median average. So yeah, that's how you generate a simple box plot in R. Obviously this time we've got two aesthetics, so we're using the X, what's on the bottom, which is the student level, so whether a college, the postgrad or the undergrad. On the Y, it's the numerical field, it's their IQ level. Then we've passed in the data and aesthetics layer and added the geometry to it. If we want to style these box plots, so styling box plots, we're going to use the same data and AES layer, but we're going to create a new plot, so styled plot we'll call it, all one word. We're going to add the data and AES layer, and we're going to plus the geom box plot geometry. Inside we're going to create aesthetics, we're going to add a fill basically, and we're going to link it to the sex of the person, because we've already got what dimension. Just think about what dimension we've already got here, and as you can see, it gives you some of these options that can be inside the geom box plot layer. So you can add aesthetics, but you can also add outlier shape, outlier size, outlier stroke, outlier color, position, dodge, fill, stats, so the stat whether it's a box plot or not, etc. Define mappings. Again, use help and in double quotations, pass in geom box plot, and that will give you the help screen with everything you need to know about the specific parameters. I'll cover a few now. So the fill, we're going to set that to, again, stu income greater than 27k, and we're going to set it to the sex of the person. So let's just scroll down there. So if I run that line, that will go into my environment window, into the values, style plot. Now what we need to do is print that style plot out. So print it to the plots window, run. So that gives you a completely different visualization than the one we had previously. So it gives you it dodged next to each other by whether they're male or female. So you can add a bit more. It seems here the data's made up, but the median levels for IQ are higher in males for postgrad. For undergrad, slightly higher in females, and at college level, again, slightly higher in females. But yeah, that's how you can add styling. You can even specify here. I think you can add colour. I think I saw colour. Red. Let's see what that's done. Nothing actually, because yeah, that's predefined by the AES layer, so let me just ignore that previously. Right. Okay. Let's just see if that works still. That's fine. So if I wanted to use the help, like I've said previously, help. So let me add a few more parameters to my geometry layer. So geom box plot. What else can we do to it? So the box plot currently displays the distribution of a continuous variable. It visualizes 5 summary statistics, a median, 2 hinges and 2 whiskers, and the outline points individually. So if I go look at one of these variables, so I can adjust the position, the outline color. I could, yeah, let's do the outside of the AES layer. Let's add a parameter before it. Show dot legend equals false. Let's see what that does. So have a look at the plot now from previous. I've managed to remove the legend. I didn't pass that into the aesthetics layer because actually that's a property of the geometry, not the AES layer. So it's just trying to differentiate between the two. Because we access geom box plot, all these functions should be passed with inside the geom box plot plot parentheses. Sorry, I can't talk today. If I wanted to have a look at something else, I could define what the outlier colour is. So let's say outlier colour equals, and let's specify one of the colours that we talked about previously, the R colours. Let's have wheat 3. Just get rid of that line. Okay. Oh, I've not put there we go, comma there. Make sure you put your commas in, people. So yeah, you can see the outlier colour's now changed. And then I could probably say something like, again, we're just playing around here, but probably the outlier shape size. Let's say outlier size is bigger. So after this, we want to add a comma first. Outlier size. Let's say 0.5. See what that does. It's a relative position. Oh, it's tiny. Let's change it up to 3 then. Yeah, a lot bigger now. So you can see the outliers changed again. I don't like that wheat colour though, so let's make it blue. Again, you can just keep tinkering around with those properties, but I'd advocate see how powerful help is, look at the parameters, have a little play, what kind of data types need to be passed to each of the parameters, etc. I mean, some of them you don't even have to fill, they're optional. One other thing I could change probably is the notch width between them, just to see what that does. This is the last thing I'll tinker with. Not really done anything, has it? That's why, because I put comma again. Yeah, they're starting to move apart, aren't they? So put 2. Yeah, they're changing like the notches between and moving. Yeah, so I mean, just have a play with that part of it, and it's you know, just keep looking at the help. But essentially, that's box plots in essence, and how you create a box plot in R using ggplot2. Soon we're going to be learning about how to alter themes, so the background, etc. But for now, we're just focusing on the core charts. Again, the supplementary file will be available on the Hudson's Hacks website, or by hudsonshacks.co.uk, or by going to my YouTube page. For now, I'll provide a link in the description field to where you can get that information. Okay guys, that's it for box plots. I'll see you on the next tutorial where we'll be looking at scatter charts. Okay guys, catch you next time. Thanks very much. Please subscribe if you've not seen before. Please keep watching, and I appreciate your support. Thanks guys, have a good day.